In 2016, Mercedes presented the new electromobility brand called EQ. And then 2018, they unveiled the first car of that brand. And now, 2019, we're allowed to drive the first production model called EQC. So we're talking about a mid-size SUV, fully electric. And today, I will find out what is the real range of the car and how much of a Mercedes is it. The powertrain of the EQC is based on two electric engines, one at the front and one at the rear axle. And that not only provides us with an all-wheel drive system, it also provides us with 300 kilowatts of maximum power, 760 newton meters of maximum torque. And the interesting thing here is if you push down the pedal to the metal, that car really accelerates quick and very nice, very, very quiet. And very important is to know that the front engine is more the, let's say, more economical one. So this is the one for the long and easy drive to just save power. And if you want the dynamic part, the rear axle comes on top, so the rear engine, and that provides you with the kick you want when you drive the car more dynamic. Very important is here, together with that, you not only have this very nicely all-wheel drive, you also have a very silent and easy drive, and if you want, a pure dynamic SUV. The EQC features different recuperation modes, which you can choose while using the pedals here, which you normally utilize to change gear. And so the car offers a, let's say, sailing mode, where it's no recuperation at all. Then you have the next mode is like a standard combustion engine, so if you lift your foot, it will be a bit of recuperation there. And then you have one which is a bit more of recuperation, and then there is the so-called one-pedal drive, which is like really, you just control the car while using the pedal, and if you lift your foot, it's like a soft brake. And so when you drive easy and smooth, you don't even need to have the standard brake to be used at all. On top of this, there is a so-called auto mode, which you can start when you just pull both pedals for a longer moment. And this will then select automatically the perfect recuperation mode, matching your actual drive situation. Having a look at the design of the EQC is, of course, it looks a bit like a Mercedes, but it still looks completely brand new because this is a new brand and should have its own face. So when you look at it, the most important thing here is the combination of the brand new grille and the headlamps. When you remind the study of the car, you had a completely seamless part in here. That's a bit different now. It's a bit more production car, but still completely different. As standard, you do find loads of bars here, but this is the AMG version, so you do find a typical AMG optic here. And very important is that car features full LED, so matrix LED lights as standard. And this combination gives the car the unique look of the EQC. But you do find things that you already know from other Mercedes SUVs, like the swing up here. That's a typical thing for a Mercedes SUV look. But when you look at the air intakes here, which are not really there, we do only have small ones here to make the aerodynamics better. But this is the difference between the standard and the new electric line of Mercedes-Benz. But what I really like with the car is from the front, it got its unique look, but it still looks like a Mercedes SUV should look like. Let's talk about the steering and the suspension of the car. When you drive the new EQC, it's like driving any other Mercedes model, any other actual Mercedes body. So the steering is quite precise, very nicely made, and important is the suspension. It is a bit more stiff, or feels a bit more stiff, but very, very comfortable. And so when we talk about the weight of the battery and the drive, you can drive that car quite dynamic, and you do not feel the extra couple of 100 kilos of the battery while having a standard drive. But if you do drive very dynamic and you have very tight bands, is of course you do feel it while braking, and you do feel the weight while driving through the curves. But it is mounted very low in the car between the axles, and so that really gives you a very nice flow. And as long as you drive the car, let's say standard and a bit more sporty, it doesn't matter at all. It is a typical Mercedes ride. Of course, the EQC offers different drive modes, and some of them you may already know from other cars like Eco, Sport or Individual. But you do have an extra mode here which is called Maximum Range. And this is quite simple because it just configures the car the way that you do really drive as economic as even possible, and this may be very nice if you don't have the next charging station around the corner when needed.
The EQC can be charged at any household socket, but that takes time. At a wallbox or public charging station with at least 7.4 kilowatt, it takes 11 hours to charge the 80 kilowatt-hour battery of the EQC from 10 to 100%. This is noticeably faster at a fast charger. With a so-called DC charging, 40 minutes are enough to top up the high-voltage battery from 10 to 80%.
Even though we do have 300 kilowatts of maximum power on board of our EQC, the top speed is limited at 180 kilometers per hour. But I think more important for the fun with the car is the acceleration of it, because the EQC accelerates in only 5.1 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. As standard, the EQC comes with two 10.25-inch screens here, both under one glass panel, so that provides you with a really nice widescreen. And on top of this, you have MBUX as standard on board. And very important is the right screen is a touch screen, so you can easily use that to type in the stuff you want. And so that provides you with a very nice infotainment and a very easy use, because you can use the touchscreen or either the touchpad here at the center console. The good thing with the MBUX system is you do have the voice control on board as well, which means you can just say, hey Mercedes, I'm cold, and the car will be more warm after that. Or you can say, okay, I'm hungry, and the car will find the next available restaurant for you. So very easy, very nice, and all these features, they come as standard.
The Mercedes EQC can be ordered from around 71,000 euros, and so on an equal level as its competitors. For comparison, an Audi e-tron costs just over 80,000 euros and offers with its 95 kilowatt-hour battery a range of more than 400 kilometers. With a maximum output of 265 kilowatt, it accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6.6 seconds and works up to a maximum speed of 200 kilometers per hour. The 294 kilowatt Jaguar I-Pace costs about 79,500 euros and promises, thanks to its 19 kilowatt-hour battery, a range of up to 470 kilometers. However, he only needs 4.8 seconds for the sprint to 100 and features the same top speed as the Audi does.
You do have different display modes here with the digital cockpit, and with the EQC you have a classic mode where you have your tubes, standard instruments, you have a more sporty mode, and you can have they call it progressive mode, which is a typical EQC mode where you have a lot of information regarding to your drive, which means you know the range you have, you know the power is actually used, you know how much is recuperated at the moment, and all the information you need while driving an electric car. And that really gives you the feeling of being in a very ecological and modern vehicle. The EQC comes as standard with 19-inch alloys, but you can order rims up to 21-inch. On our car we do have mounted the AMG rims 20-inch, but I can tell you there is a 21-inch available, which looks a lot better. So that really gives the car the extra kick. And then when you look at the side of the car, what you do find is no hard lines. The only one you find down here, and that's it. The rest is very soft, very easy, so they're working with lights and shade, and that really gives the car the completely unique look. You find down this element down here, which is AMG, and I'm not a big fan of that because I think that ruins a bit the shape of the car, but it's just what you like. It's not me, but it's still fine. And when you look at the whole shape of the car, it should be a mix out of a standard SUV and a coupe. And this you can see very nicely with the roofline, which drops to the rear. And this is underlined by the window line, which goes up here. And that gives the car a very nice push to the front. And then look at these shoulders, very nicely, very softly shaped. So the car looks very muscular, it has a very good stance, but still soft, clean, and a typical Mercedes. The interior of the EQC is like you expect from a Mercedes-Benz. You do find very nice materials, very nice craftsmanship, and on the other hand, it's really modern and new and fresh. So we do have one of my absolute highlights are these bars here, these ribs. They look a bit, let's say a bit of a vintage, but very modern on the other hand, and they run around the whole dashboard, and that really gives you the idea of being in the car. So it is like wrapped around you and the dashboard. And you do find a similar thing here, the inner side as well, which is including the two panels. And so the whole thing here looks very nice, very modern, but still Mercedes. And something completely new are the air outtakes here. So the air vents are not round like the new turbine look we know, for instance, from the A-Class. They're completely different and completely new, but I think they really match the idea of an electric car, of a modern interpretation, very nice, and that really is a perfect match when we talk about the interior. When you look at the rear of the EQC, the first thing that catches my eyes is this very tiny window here. Looks great, but when you look from the inside to the outside, not perfect. But more important is the lower part of the car is dark as well. And this together makes this part here look very thin, and this makes this looks very wide. And this is underlined by the very small and very nicely shaped taillights in LED and this LED light band here. And this provides the car the extra width. And together with these very nicely shaped shoulders, that gives the car the perfect stance. And very important with the shoulders is, when you look at the wheel arches, you have one line, wheel arches to the wheel, and the car gets slimmer when you go down. And that is a combination from the rear. When you look at the car, you have this very softly shaped car, and then these wheels, bam! And that really gives the car a very solid look from the back. If you want to know why the EQC is called EQC 400, it is not the range, it's not the power. The reason for that is it should give you an idea of what class of car you're driving, because this should just tell you it is something similar to, let's say, a GLC 400 or GLC 350. And so this is a bit of a combination out of power and the, let's say, class of the car. But while standing at the boot, let's have a look inside. The EQC offers 500 liters of boot capacity with the rear seats up. If you fold them down, that increases up to 1,460 liters. So a really proper size for a mid-size SUV. And the reason for that is the battery is in the underfloor of the car, so it does not affect the boot size. So that's a real practical car. When we talk about Mercedes-Benz, of course, we talk about safety and security. And if we talk about that, we have to talk about driver assistance and safety systems. So the EQC comes equipped with a emergency braking as standard. On top, you do have an active lane departure system, and you do find traffic sign recognition as standard as well. But on top of this, of course, you can offer a whole variety of different driver assistance safety systems. So for instance, if you want, you may want a rear cross traffic alert, or you want to have automatic parking or whatever. But what I really do suggest to order is there is a package which is called driver assistance systems. That costs you about 2,300 euros in Germany, and that then provides you with a car that drives nearly autonomously. And I really tried this a lot here at the area of Oslo. So I drove on the motorway, on countryside roads, in the city, and I absolutely did not use my foot for driving. So the car accelerates when it is allowed to. It reduces speed because of the traffic signs. It attaches the speed to the traffic, which means if the car got to know you want to turn around, if there's a roundabout coming up or a very tight bend, the car will reduce the speed then. And that all is based on sat-nav card material combined with a camera system and the radar system. So you're always quite safe and secure. And I would say that works for about 90% of the standard driving. So that really provides you with a very relaxed, very comfortable ride. And on top of this, you get extra safety as well. The space offered here at the front for the driver and the co-driver is absolutely nice. So you can see even me as a tall person, I do sit very comfortably inside of my chair here. I do have loads of support, and as you can see, I do have some headspace left, even though we do have a mounted sunroof here in the car. So that is typical Mercedes for me. I have no idea how bad it is on the rear seats, but we're going to find out that while having a short stop. So I didn't change the position of my seat. Now let's see if I fit in that car. Getting in is a bit tight, but then, as you see, I have enough leg room left. The top is a bit tight, so it's okay, but not much. But I have to be honest, I'm nearly 2 meters tall and I sit behind me, and I think that's more than enough. What I really do like a lot with the EQC is, and this is a typical electric thing, is the noise level inside of the car. It's very, very quiet in here. The only thing you hear a little bit is the noise of the wheels and a bit of wind when you drive quicker. But that really is it. And this is an extra regarding to comfort and to just being relaxed in the car. And so I think Mercedes did a really good job, because this car is really quiet even when you compare it with other electric cars. Talking about practicability and storage compartments here at the car. You do find very nicely and quite big compartments here in the doors, with the opportunity to put big bottles at the front. This of course is the same at the passenger side. On top of this, we do have here the center console, at the front a covered box where you can charge your mobile phone wirelessly, and you do have 2 cup holders here as well. And very important is you do only find USB-C sockets here, so if you have an older phone you may need an adapter. On top of this, you do have the standard armrest here, which you can open, and under that you find the standard size of a Mercedes compartment here. So overall it is as practical and offers as many storage compartments as you expect from a standard Mercedes-Benz. For all of you who loves music, of course you can have a proper hi-fi system for the EQC. I would suggest just order the Burmester system. That not only looks very nice with the speakers here at the A-pillar, it also provides you with very, very nice sound and loads of volume. That was my first test drive with the new Mercedes EQC, the first EQ production car. And what I really do like with the car, aside of the, I think, beautiful design, is it got its unique look, something new and fresh, but still completely instantly recognized as a Mercedes-Benz car. And when we talk about the drive of the car, it does not only deliver what I expected, it delivered even more, because the car is so quiet, so comfortable, it drives so easy and smooth, and that really is a typical Mercedes-Benz thing. I really liked it. But on the other hand, of course you can drive it more dynamic. You got 300 kilowatts of power on board, you get all-wheel drive because of the 2 engine, and of course, yes, you can drive that car dynamic, and it really is fun to drive then as well. And when we talk about drive and we talk about electric cars, we have to talk about range and consumption. And that car should take, regarding to the figures of Mercedes, about 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer driven. I didn't reach that number. We used about 22 to 25, but still with the 80 kilowatt hours battery on board, that gives me a range of about 350 kilometers, and we're talking about temperatures less than 10 degrees Celsius actually here in Oslo, and that is, I think, absolutely fine. Looking at the interior, it is completely fresh, new and very high class, and still Mercedes-Benz, and I really do like this a lot, and even the space in the car is absolutely nice for that segment of a car. The only downside with the car is, yes, it is a Mercedes and it costs what a Mercedes will cost you. So we're talking about a car which comes quite nice equipped, like MBX on board, widescreen on board, matrix LED on board, but the sticker price is 71,000 and a bit. So this is not cheap. And if you want to put all the extras on, like different rims, exterior packages, leather and all this stuff, you may reach a number close to 100,000 euros. But I would say this is the price you have to pay if you want to drive the star under the electric vehicles.